Have you ever wondered what it'd be like to talk to a tree and not only that, but actually have the tree listen and answer you? So that's what this episode's about. My experience, this particular experience talking to a tree, it answered me and the repercussions and everything around it. It's quite spectacular, actually. So I went to visit my son. My hubby and I visit my son just around the way, and we went around the back, and they've got a tree that's in the middle of the backyard, and it's been there for well several years. It's not a massive tree, but it certainly is there, and it's got the roots of a shrub and a tree now that's been there 7 or 8 years, and I looked at it and I thought, oh, they must be moving the tree because they'd taken the concrete away and they'd started digging down and there was little pieces of root there and it looked really quite cumbersome. So when I went inside, I said, what's going on with that tree, son? And he explained that they wanted to put it out the front because they wanted to utilize that space in a different way. Now the girls have grown up and the swimming pool is gone and they want to do it, have other things there. So I said, well, it looks like a little bit of an issue. Like, are you having problems? And they said that the roots are really quite down deep, but they don't want to damage the roots because they don't want to damage the tree, of course. But they don't know what to do. And I said, well, look, could you leave it with me? Would you mind if I go and have a talk to the tree and see if the tree will listen? And, it's no harm is done. It may not work, but then again, it may. And they said, sure, go for it. And so I grabbed my 18-year-old granddaughter because several years ago she expressed an interest in what I do and she'd like to learn. And I said, when you're a bit older, well, she's of that age now. So I knocked on her door and I said to her, darling heart, would you like to come and sit with grandma? And you can watch what we're doing. So she grabbed a couple of chairs and we sat there. And I had my back to the house and my front to the tree. And the general overview is I thank the tree for its service, that it's been a great pleasure watching it grow into adulthood. And I thanked it for all the things that it's done for the family. One of the things they used to do is they had these little branches on it and they would put rings of orange so the birds could be fed. And I thanked it for that and thanked it for its service. And I did say to it that it's now time for it to move and be moved, that there's a really special place out the front that the family's got for it. And there's bigger trees there. So there's mummy tree and there's daddy tree and grandparents are out there and siblings are all out there. And they would love you to join them and come and join them because it is time for you to go and be part of the family. However, we've got a bit of a problem. And I was wondering if I could ask some help from you, if you could possibly help me. And I will say my granddaughter, God bless her, she didn't chuckle too much. She knows grandma's a little bit crazy. And I said that the family, my son and his wife, do not want to damage the roots. But the roots are quite deep now because you've grown up. Is it at all possible that you could release your roots a little bit so that when they come out in the next few days, it's so much easier for them to pull you out and take you to the front? And it'll be much better for you. You won't be damaged, you won't be hurt. So if that's at all possible, we would really appreciate that. And thank you very much for that. And I'll see you around the front when I come and visit you next time. So I said to my grandbaby, would you like to take the chairs for grandma and we'll go out and we'll talk to the trees out the front. So we sat out there. And the reason we're sitting is I've got really bad knees, so I can't stand up for long. So we go out there and I spoke to all the trees around as a group effort. And I said that there's a tree, a sibling around the back that's going to be moved and come out and join the family. Now, what I'd like you all to do is welcome this tree home, be kind to this tree. It's going to be transported, so it's going to need extra nutrients in the ground for it to grow and develop again. And it needs a lot of kindness. It's going to have a different shades on it and the different sun on it. So if you could just take care of this tree and it is part of your family now. And if you wouldn't mind just embracing the tree and welcoming them at home. And so with that, I left and I went and had a cup of tea with my son. And I said, well, look, it'd be really fascinating to see what happens because I've spoke to both both sides of this. So off I go. And we went over there about 2 or 3 weeks later and the tree was gone. I thought, oh, that's interesting. I wonder if A, it worked, ye of little doubt, or if they really did damage it and what has happened. And so I said to my son, you moved the tree. He said, yeah, it was really interesting, Mum. He said, we went out a couple of days later and we knew what you'd done. And we started, getting a bit of the dirt out and moving the tree. We were shaking it backwards and forwards. And the roots started to, there was no stress with it. There was no strain. It was like the roots were ready to just come up. And I go, wow, that's exactly what I thought should have happened. But to see it is quite miraculous. So they took it around the front and I said, how's it doing? And they said, well, it's still alive, so it must be okay. So I went to my grandbaby and I said, would you like to come and see the final part of what we need to do? So she took the chairs out the front and off we go. And I welcomed and I congratulated the tree for releasing its roots so that the family had made their job easier, that they weren't going to harm it and damage the tree. And I thanked that tree. And I also thanked the other trees for taking such good care because if a tree could look happy, that tree actually did look very, very happy. It gave me the sense and the feeling when I was talking to them that it was at home. It had come home to its siblings and its whānau or its family, and it was really at peace. And that was, maybe 12, 14, 16 months ago now. And occasionally when I go over there, I do look over and I have a little smile because it's grown beautifully. It's like it was always there. But for the first 6, 7, 8 years of its life, it wasn't. So that was my second experience with talking to trees. Everything is possible to those who believe, but it's not just that I believed it, we did it. And it's really about talking to nature. And as I said in my introduction to my spiritual journey, that when we see the unheard and hear the unseen, miraculous things. They're not miracles, they're everyday events. But to us, to you and me, they are miracles. And I'm sure you've had things in your life, not maybe as dramatic as that, but certainly you've got your own stories. And one day I hope that you'll share your stories with me. So that's my experience of talking to a tree, the tree listening and accepting what I wanted to do, and the end result of it is wonderful. But before we go, I just want to explain a couple of things about the view behind and where I am when I do my videos. I live in a house bus and we live on the most perfect little piece of land in Gisborne in New Zealand. And that's my view. So when we walk out of the house bus, that's what we see and that's what we live in. The front, if I can tell you, is even more magnificent. We've got a valley at the front that goes up and all the trees and it's very green. Now, I will say that we've got 3 lights here. They are not spaceships, unfortunately. I would really like them to be, but they're not. That is the reflection of the lights inside the house bus. It's quite dark out there today, and we've got the windows that have got the film that you can't see in, but you can see out. So that's a reflection. So you will be seeing them more often. So to stop you wondering what is going on, that is actually what's going on. And so I will see you at episode 4. I hope you enjoyed the story of being able to remove the tree. It is simply having respect, and it's giving respect and letting nature know what it is you want from them. But also, when you get it, it's also about thanking nature for what it's already done as well. So until next time, ka kite anō.